And how is it going, everyone? Welcome to more Gran Turismo 4. And today, as much as I would have preferred not doing this, I'm gonna do the endurance, because it seems like it's the only viable way to get an LMP car after all. I investigated about the Nürburgring mission, and it's unfortunately not realistically doable. Like, you will need to play to be the top to be close to doing that. Though I do want to do something else as well. I should probably buy these things simply so they are, well, so they are free. I don't know why they are not available from the beginning, but yeah, starting with these tires, and we will see how the endurance goes. Maybe this is not even the right car to do this, but it seems to be the kind of category that the endurance goes for here. 200 miles. How much is 200 miles? Like 300 kilometers, right? Something like that. That's a lot. That's a very long distance. But yeah, I wanna see. Promise that I wish it was easier to know what the tire usage of your current tires is gonna be before you do multiple laps, you know? That would be nice, but it doesn't seem like it's that easy. Now the question is here, which one is gonna be the car that will be I'm assuming the Lotus. I mean, that was my rival when I used the Audi here, right? If that was the case, it will be the case here too. These tires will be rough to steer on, obviously, but ironically, their durability might not be enough, because apparently the opponents in this endurance don't pit for a very long time, and that's bad. I also, well, what I do know is that minimum, I think I need to last for 10 laps. I actually don't know. It probably could be more, it could be less. Also, how is it going, Kyle? I'm just here this time with the Viper, trying to do this endurance. Hopefully this time it works, but I still have my doubt. I feel like my opponents are having tires made out of titanium. At least judging by my previous attempt. I don't know how they are gonna behave here, but it really feels like they are made out of titanium for sure. But we will see. Imagine the enemy car laps less than the Viper. Imagine the enemy cars lap less than the Viper. What? I don't think I understand what that means. They lap less than the Viper? Did you... Oh, pit less. Well, that's my fear. I mean, the Viper doesn't really matter here. What matters is the tire. Like, are these tires enough? These tires, if I'm not mistaken, are standard soft, which in theory they should be more durable than sport hard, I think. I might be wrong, you know, but I think that's how it works. We will see. Yeah, obviously they have to lap less, clearly. Yes, I am aware. I know how endurances work, Kyle, come on. You know I know. I already did endurances before. When I play Gran Turismo, well, 1, 2, and 3, well, and obviously off stream when I play the endurances in the other Gran Turismo games as well. But yeah, I am aware, obviously, if they lap less than me, I'm not gonna win. Depends though. If I manage to get a huge advantage on them, lapping more might still be enough to win. But that's something that I tried with the Audi and it didn't work. I don't know why it didn't work though. Because it seems like at some point the tire wear went to shit and I started doing worse laps. Also, how is it going, Sunshine? I got the lapping. Of course I got the lapping. Oh, and the Lotus. Okay, I think the reason maybe why I got all these advantages is because the Lotus was struggling to overtake. So I think the Lotus will be my opponent no matter what. We will see. The Lotus was also my opponent with the other thing, with the how's it called? With the Audi. But look, I have a plan B. Like within the same race. If these tires are not enough, I can actually change them in pits. And I will go for the hard standard tires, or whatever they are called. I don't know what's their name exactly, but those should be the most durable ones possible. Theoretically. Maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I'm not, but... Have you had an energy drink? No, I didn't have an energy drink. Nah, but this is gonna be 2 hours and a little bit. So it's gonna be less than the stream, which is the reason why I'm willing to do it. Keep current. Yeah, I could keep current, of course. But I will keep current depending on how it goes. Though that's something. Hold up. I know that you're probably joking, but keep current, the only thing that does is change the tire using the same type that you're using, right? Like, I'm assuming it doesn't literally keep the current tires you have without changing them, right? Or what? Well, I don't know what's the default option, because if keep current is not the default option, then it probably does mean that, which is pretty funny. Because, I mean, why else will you enter the pits? Because I cannot imagine a situation where the tires somehow manage to last more than the fuel tank. Like, you're never gonna run out of fuel unless you purposely don't replenish the fuel, which is something I'm probably gonna do, assuming that makes the pit stop faster. Gonna be around 130 minutes for this. Yeah, it's probably around there. But I am aware that this is gonna be a long thing, but it's the only thing I can do. To say hi to your homies. My homies at the paddock. Well, this thing is so poverty that there's probably no paddock in here. This is in the middle of the mountains. I don't think you have enough space or budget to have a paddock. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, I was out to say, the other alternative, which is the one that Kyle mentioned yesterday about beating the last 4 missions to unlock an LMP. Unfortunately, that alternative is impossible. I already checked, and first of all, this is the NTSC version of the game. And apparently in the PAL version it's easier because you have less time difference, and the first place also does a lower time to reach the finish line. On NTSC this is close to impossible, unfortunately. Like, you will need to be a prodigy or to waste like a lot of time practicing it. And I'm not gonna do that. Also, this is a problem. The Lotus is actually being faster than me. Like, he's gaining distance on me. I don't think that my performance is worse, but this guy is gaining on me, actually. And this might not work yet again. God damn it. They shower you with Manaus. You know that apparently Manaus is starting to become a big company. Like, they are trying to compete with Coca-Cola here. Can you believe that? They are acquiring other companies in order to become bigger and become a competitor. It's quite crazy. But yeah, they are trying to play big. Ah, damn it. So the problem is that 15 was the previous checkpoint, but this one is most likely gonna be lower. The Lotus is actually approaching very quickly. And that's very... Oh, it's actually still 15. Alright. Cool. Okay, keep in mind that the tires are also turning yellow. And I think that they are turning yellow around the same time that the Audi ones were, right? Water is more expensive than Coca-Cola in Mexico. I don't know what's the deal with that. I do know that in Mexico, Coca-Cola is like the most basic drink. Like, it's part of everything, which is interesting. I mean, why not? It seems a little bit weird. I mean, to me the weird thing is that people can consume those type of drinks often without feeling heavy. Now, if I were to consume that daily, I would feel like a tank, and not in the good way. And not a tank like a super powerful warrior. No, a tank as a, you know, as someone slow with trouble moving. Man, that corner is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Well, it seems like the distance between the Lotus and me is not really that bad, but it also means that I cannot make mistakes if I don't want to make it bigger than this. Oh, I feel like at this point in the race, I was also already struggling, I think, with the tires, with the Audi, right? So I think in that regard I am doing a lot better. Ideally, though, I don't know how realistic it is, but I will want to last until lap 11, because that will mean that, or well, I guess 12, because if it is 11, well, yeah, ideally it will be lap 12, because that means that you will have 5 pit stops. And that will probably be the lowest realistic amount of pit stops you can do. But I'm not sure if the lowest. Also, this guy is now getting scaringly close. I don't like that. I mean, the only reason why this big distance even exists is because of the other guys keeping this guy at bay, you know? So... Wait, hold up. Even saw a girl making healing rituals? What? Healing rituals with Coca-Cola instead of holy water to heal him. Well, when it comes to rituals, I think that's a whole different story because a lot of places still practice rituals that are obviously only ceremonial and they don't have any other benefit, but yeah, just the way it is, you know, and not much you can do there. So using Coca-Cola is certainly a choice instead of something natural, but yeah, that's fine, it happens. So at this point, I think the only thing that can save me is indeed this guy pitting in first, but that doesn't seem to be happening. Like, it seems like this is an exact same repeat as what happened with the Audi, without a doubt. But I just don't understand how the tire consumption is so low for these guys. What's the idea here is what I don't really comprehend. At least so far they are getting yellow. Though except that rear right one, that one is struggling without a doubt. Yeah, I don't know, I feel like this guy has to be cheating, right? To go this fast and no need to pit stop. I could understand it from the other guys that are all close together, but this guy, it seems like, I don't know, I don't believe it. Elections, you could say that. And unfortunately, my rear right tire is starting to become a problem. And this guy is still not pitting in. Damn it, dude. Why do you have to be like this? I don't understand. Like, this is so unfair. So absolutely unfair. Unless we do one of those things where we just ban the Lotus from this endurance. I mean, it's a shame because it does seem like an interesting opponent, but if he doesn't pit stop, I cannot win. I legitimately cannot win. And I will need to pit stop very, very soon. That's the issue. So I don't think I get it. Unless he's only gonna pit stop when he needs fuel. That will be funny. Only on fuel. It's the only thing I could think of. Because not any of the other ones also pit stop, so I don't know what's the idea here. The free economy tires. I mean, I'm using one of the free tires. It's just that I'm using the one technically with the best performance. But that's still, I don't know. I feel like it's an exaggeration that even with this, it's not enough. Like, I don't know what else you want me to do. Like, you really want me to go with the full economy ones? There's no other explanation. Because this guy ain't pit stopping at all. But I will need to pit stop on the next one, I'm pretty sure. And probably change tires if this guy is, I don't know. Just like yet again we are wasting an attempt here, but I just don't understand. Like, it shouldn't be possible to last this long unless you are having the worst type of tires possible. But if you have the worst type of tires possible, how are you going this fast? That shouldn't be possible. Unless that Lotus is made with magic instead of, you know, real world engineering. Otherwise, I don't understand what's the big deal. What I will do is I will pit stop no matter what in the end of this lap. And after pit stopping, I'm gonna change to like the lowest possible of these ones. Yes, otherwise we're not going anywhere. With this it will be 6 pit stops in total. Well, no, if I change the compound it will probably be less. Because if it was 6 I cannot win unless this guy pit stops in the same lap I do. He's not doing it. Alright. Well, time to pit. Oh, okay, no, I guess we're not pitting. Never mind. We are not pitting in. The tires are such in a sorry ass state I cannot even pit in. I cannot even steer to properly pit in. I have to start braking a lot more. That's unbelievable. I would like to demolish this guy, but I think it's too late. When he overtook me like that, he did it way too fast. I don't think I can overtake him back. Get off the car and push it to the pits. I don't think that's allowed. Even in real life, I don't think you're allowed to do that. You will probably be disqualified, and you will probably deserve it. I don't think this makes any sense, because it's not possible to do anything, basically. Like, without half-decent tires. If they all deteriorate this fast, you know? I will have to pit in. If this guy pits in, we might have a chance. Because, or maybe not even there. I don't know, dude. I feel like I'm absolutely boned and I should retry this, but I don't know, retry with what? Like, I cannot make miracles unless I retry until the Lotus doesn't show up, but another worse one can show up instead of the Lotus. No, he still doesn't pit stop. That's unbelievable. That doesn't make any sense at all. Like, that makes so little sense, it's crazy. So here, economy. Like, I don't know what else to do. The Pescarolo shows up. I mean, that Lotus might as well be the Pescarolo. Oh, you can interrupt the refueling. Like, by pressing accelerate, you interrupt the refueling. I didn't mean to do that. Do you get limited time to prepare to the pit stop? Well, yeah, until you reach your crew. And how is it going, Wasabi? Essentially, okay, the guy behind me is pitting in. One of them, not all of them, just one guy. Unless this thing can last like 15 laps or something ridiculous like that, I don't think I'm winning. Though it's terrible to steer in these things. Needless to say, it's absolutely terrible. Like, it's so bad, and it makes sense it is, because these are the type of tires you should never use. Like, these tires might as well be a show. But apparently here you cannot avoid it. So, I don't know what these people are on about. I can hear the bad handling from here, yeah. I mean, even these guys are overtaking me now. So this is not possible with this current configuration. There is... Well, this guy is also not going the right way. But yeah, the Lotus stop now on lap 12. On lap 12. I don't know what to make of that. Lap 12. That means that he's gonna stop 5 times. No, 4 times. Actually, no, 5. 5. It's 5 is 60. Well, see, here's the thing. The problem is that even if the tires that I'm using can last forever, the issue is that my handling is rash. That's the problem. The handling is actually trash. So you're gonna end up losing enough time that you're not gonna gain by not pitting, I guess. Yeah, this seems like a debuff more than anything else. I'm confused, really. Like, what's the intention? Like, how you're intentionally supposed to do this event, because it just feels nonsensical. Unless you want me to use a sport hard. But I don't think sport hard is supposed to be super better. Maybe it is. I don't know. Right now I'm just confused. Right now the only feeling I feel is confusion. Now, the interesting thing about these tires is that they are lasting so much that they are still blue even after essentially a whole lap. I don't know how long these are gonna last, but it feels like you could go the whole way with this. Right? Maybe. The other problem is that, as you can see, this guy is still gaining time. I might actually need to pit in for fuel, now that I think about it, with this. Do you have upgrades? I mean, I have the turbo. More importantly, I could pick a racing car and make it use shit tires as well. Would probably be the best idea. Most likely. Hey, I think this is not gonna work out. I basically have to decide if I wanna stop wasting time here and redo this already, because I mean, if I redo it too late, I'm not even gonna be able to complete it later today either. I choose to make you see how bad the current situation is. This guy, that, like the Lotus, even if he were to pit stop now, and he won't, you know, I still wouldn't overtake him. This is not gonna work. This is useless. It's absolutely useless. It's not gonna go anywhere. No, it wasn't limited to production cars, I think. It's just that using a racing car with any other type of tires feels like shit. Well, not like this one feels much better, but man, I just, like, this is so stupid. This will clearly be the right idea, but apparently if you don't use the most garbage possible tires, it doesn't work. That's so stupid. There's no other way to say it. There is one racing car. I could use this one. This one that I unlock, for example. I'm very pissed off right now. Oh, maybe this one might not be enough either. I don't know. Right. So the tune shop. I mean, should I go economy or comfort? Problem is that I don't know if the hard sport tires have better durability than this. I don't know. This one has equip racing medium by default. I don't know. At this rate, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to do. But yeah, whatever. I'm gonna try this one, man. I really hate wasting time like that, but it's the only way you can see how long the tires are gonna last. And in an endurance like this, it's not like there's anything else you can do. Like, it's so stupid. If at least the tires told you what's the calculated duration, but no, they don't tell you that. Well, the Lotus is still here. I want to see how this thing performs. Promise that this thing is gonna bury all of these guys very badly. Or it should. It's a racing car against what are supposed to be production cars. And this doesn't help my dislike for this track, I gotta say. Like, this track I hate it enough already, but this makes me hate it even more. Like, my dislike for this track is quite high. It seems like it will be higher. It is what it is, I guess. Whatever. What can you do? The question here is when the Lotus overtakes, if he's gonna start going impossibly fast or no. Handling gonna tank again? No. I mean, it's not worse than the other one because this is a racing car. It's obviously like, compared to how this car normally will be, it's very weak, but it's good enough, at least. It does a good enough job. You want some illegal knowledge? I don't know what you're gonna say. Now, if I use the Dodge Viper with these tires, it also wouldn't have gone better, because I was still losing speed with better tires even. So I don't expect that to be a smarter idea. But then it's so annoying when about the track. Well, I'm sure there are places that you can skip and shit like that. I'm not really interested. Like, I know that you can also probably ride some walls to go super fast, but hey, I'm not really interested in that. I mean, I used to do that all the time, but I should be able to win without resorting to that. Like, that should not be necessary by any means. Also, it seems like this car, since it's a racing car and it probably has better weight distribution, I think it's wearing the tires even less. You have 50 smoke detectors, I have another knowledge. Smoke detectors. I don't think I have that. But yeah. it also seems... Is the Dodge Viper here really faster than the Lotus Elise? It might be. I mean, it's looking like it is. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It kinda looks like it is faster because after all this time you will expect the other guy to have already overtaken. You can see that my lap time is almost 2 seconds faster than with the Viper, which makes sense. I mean, the thing about racing cars is that everything in terms of performance is gonna be better than a sports car, obviously. There is no doubt about that. But yeah. I just find it pretty shitty that they make the opponents last so long with the tires. That's a little bit annoying. Okay, whatever. Okay, the Lotus... Never mind. Forget about the Viper. The Lotus is back. The Lotus is the problem here. Now, he shouldn't gain time on me. But if he does gain time on me, at least the tires here should last way longer than they did with the Viper. Smoke detectors have a tiny bit of radiation. Well, I mean, bananas also have a tiny bit of radiation, you know. That doesn't mean much. It's not about the fact that they have it, it's how much they have. And bananas, for example, have an amount that is pretty much nothing. It might as well not even be there with how insignificant it is. So I don't think that's a useful thing to know. Because otherwise anyone that purchased bananas can probably already have developed a nuclear warhead, you know. That's not really the way it works. It is not. The Lotus finally stopped wasting time and is now coming for us. 18 seconds. If the gap gets lower, I don't know what to think. With 50 to 100 detectors you can do naughty stuff. How many bananas is that? How many bananas will you need to do the same? I don't know what will be cheaper. Well, I don't know how much smoke detectors are. You know that smoke detectors here pretty much don't exist. We don't have smoke detectors. At most we have fire extinguishers. Well, I'm assuming that high profile places have smoke detectors, but regular houses do not. So there's that. So help me remember here. The Lotus pit stop at lap 12, right? Was it lap 12? Do I have to at least withstand without pitting in until lap 12? Is that how it works? Is it? 12? Okay. That's fine. I mean, they are getting green now, but they just got green. Yeah, 5 pits. I mean, I'm not worried about the amount. I'm worried about being able to... I thought that with how much in the blue these tires were, I thought it was gonna be free. But now I'm not so sure. Yeah, maybe this guy like starts using nitro at some point. It's the reason why he always goes faster later. That's also another thing. His nitro will have to be super high performance to be able to stand all that shit. Now, if this is not enough, I will not understand what will be enough. Because yes, this is not the fastest car I have. I could have a faster one. But the thing is that in a track like this that is mostly corners, I feel like something like a faster car will only help you on the main straight. And even then the amount of like braking you will have to do before the bridge seems like it will still be a lot, you know. I don't know. Honestly, this endurance at the beginning it looked very easy, but I mean it's all a matter of this Lotus. If it wasn't for this Lotus, it will be easy. This Lotus is the only thing that makes it hard. Yeah. Whatever. So be it. Then, you know, I wanted to do, after being done with this endurance, I wanted to do the S license test, but I think that at this point I won't be able to do it. Then again, today is Saturday, so I could, but They are different isotopes. Potassium isotope is eaten by your immune system. Well, yeah, but the idea is that whatever you will make probably wouldn't be eaten, you know? I think that's the point. Like, if you're supposed to build something nasty, that nasty thing is not supposed to be food, I will assume. You imagine the body like eating radiation. Well, keep in mind that things like our man, I always forget the name of this shit. Yeah, wisdom teeth. You know that the wisdom teeth are things that are there precisely because back then we eat shit with rocks, right? So they are there precisely to avoid you from getting fucked. Oh, what the hell? Wait, did the Lotus get into an accident? What a moron. Why didn't you get into an accident on the previous race, though? Is my question. Why did you have to do it here? Are you making fun of me? And now that the Viper overtook him, it means that he's gonna be even like way further away. This isn't even gonna be close. Now, I have an idea. It might be a very bad idea, and I know that you will be like, no dude, you are an idiot, you shouldn't do that. But what if I were to put racing medium next time I pit stop? Because with how fast I will do the laps, I could probably leave these assholes in the dust very easily. Like, the only reason why these guys can even be close to competing with me here is because I'm using these trash tires that I'm using. If I were to use racing medium, these guys will be left in the dust. Even if it was only for like 5 laps until I need to pit stop again. I feel like I will gain so much distance that I probably could continuously pit stop. I can at least try that once. I mean, if it doesn't work, it's whatever. We had wisdom teeth because we weren't very wise with how we ate food. It could be. But the thing is that the body has a lot of shit that is there precisely to prevent you from dying easily. It doesn't really help, you know, some situations, especially in the past, people still dying easily. Yeah. I did one endurance, one car push another into the pit in the second lap. Well, that's what essentially happened to me in Gran Turismo 3 in the Roadster endurance, you know? Pretty much. So I think it's understandable. As much as a bad idea as I think it is, next time I pit stop, I'm putting racing medium. I'm putting racing medium. I wanna see how long they last, but I also want to see how far I go. Because look at it this way. If I pit stop on lap 12, that means that the last pit stop will be in lap 60. And that pit stop on lap 60, I could also afford better tires since I only need to last 6 laps, right? So I think if this doesn't work out, we can just treat it as if it was the last pit stop. So that way, if we did 12 times 4, it's 48. So let's assuming that the tires last 6 laps from lap 12 to lap 18. Wait, that would be a problem actually, wouldn't it? So if it's 18 and I add 48, no, that's 66, that's fine. Okay, see, it's what I mean. In the worst case scenario that those shits last very little, it will be the same that I will do normally, just by having the, instead of the last tire change be different, it will be the first one. Obviously it's a risky strategy, but right now my distance with that guy is enough to pit stop and still be on the lead. And if I get racing medium, I can actually go get away faster from him. You know? So that's my plan. You might think it's a bad idea and you might be right, but I think that it's not a bad idea. I think it's a fine idea. We will see. Like, I think the biggest loser here is the Dodge Viper. And not the one in this race, I mean the one I'm using. Like, that shit has been underperforming even since I purchased them. The only place that it went well is in the 2 events on the American side. That, well, it obviously won because every opponent was clearly below it. But in the supercar events, it did nothing. And in this one, it got absolutely well, it did nothing. Hold up. It did win it, but after getting obliterated by Tommy Kaira. And of course I could say, yeah, fuck Tommy Kaira, he's cheating, whatever. But at the end of the day, the fact is that the Viper didn't win. So I think that the Viper might have been my worst purchase so far. By a long shot. Because every other purchase has been very useful. Tony Kaira? Oh, it's Tommy, but I was gonna say, the other purchases were essentially the Peugeot 200 that was very useful because it was able to do the 2 things, the 2 events in beginner that are usually very annoying to do, which are FF and the convertible one. And he also did European events. So that guy did beautifully. Then you have the Ford pickup truck. That one was okay. Because it was only useful for one event, but it did its job perfectly. Then what else do we have in purchases? Well, the Porsche. The Porsche only underperforming the Pan-Euro tournament. In every other thing that I used him, he did well. Relatively. I mean, he probably could have done better, but I think he did well. And it's also a nice, it's a car that performed well considering the horsepower it had. And then what other car I purchased aside from the Viper? Because I'm pretty sure there was one more I purchased and I don't remember which one it was. Unless that's it. Yeah, I only purchased this and the other. Oh well, there. Yeah, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, the used one, the first one I purchased. Yeah, that one sucked. That one was probably more disappointing than the Viper. The difference is that for that I paid almost nothing. So basically I got what I paid for. I got a piece of shit because I paid for a piece of shit. But with the Viper I didn't pay for a piece of shit, you know? That's the problem. So yeah. So far, the Viper takes the prize for being the most disappointing one. I should have gone for the classic Viper instead. Maybe it wouldn't have done much better, but at least it's prettier. That gives him points. Yeah, whatever. Now, so far my tires are lasting even way longer than 12. Like, I could actually pit stop even later right now. I will have to do calculations, which are always annoying to do. If I were to pit stop at 13, that will mean also 5 pit stops. And at 14 is, well, I don't know when I'm gonna pit stop. I really want to try the hard tires. Or I could pit stop. There is another thing that I'm also not taking into account. Fueling takes time. So you can obviously enter pits with your fuel tank empty, but if you do that, you're gonna take longer to get out than if it was at like the mid distance. So I think pitting in now might not be a bad idea because of that. Because yes, you can let your tank go empty, but you will lose time in one way or another. You're bad for not picking superior shop cars. I mean, the Japanese cars, I did use, I mean, I really didn't purchase any Japanese car now that I think about it. That's precisely because they shower you with Japanese cars in the prices, so didn't feel any need to purchase one when they were already falling from the sky for free, you know? Look, I'm gonna pit stop in this lap. Even though you can see my tires are still in a decent state. I'm gonna pit stop and I'm gonna do a medium racing tires and see how well they do. Because they might last even longer than 6 laps, considering that these ones are lasting longer than 12. If I really wanted to, I could wait for longer here. Alright, I'm gonna pit in, and I'm gonna change for racing medium, and see how that does. How that goes, I mean, sorry. By racing medium. What? Oh, I can't! I cannot! Actually. Oh, and until I put OK, it didn't start. Tim, that's pretty funny too. I didn't know that. Unless you put OK, they don't start. So what happened here is racing tires are not allowed in this competition. And obviously you are not allowed to put them even once you start the competition, even if you started with something other than racing medium. I still don't think the pit stop there was a bad idea. But it also means that I'm stuck with these tires. For better or for worse, I'm stuck with these tires. Oops. This thing probably could have used sport tires easily, and they would have lasted a long time. Though I also like the information. Well, that actually answers Wasabi's question from earlier. Like, what happens when you... Like, do you have a time limit to input that? No, you don't. You can take your time. It's just that the longer you take, the more time you're gonna waste in pits. But you can actually take all the time in the world you want. That's something that might also be the case in other games. I guess it's just that every time I watch someone play, they tend to decide fast, obviously, because otherwise, regardless of what happens, like, either you stay there and waste time, or the decision gets picked on its own. Both things are bad. So every player that I see decides before getting to that. In other games, like, you know, well, Gran Turismo 7 or Assetto Corsa, like those type of games. Those type of games also have that choice you can make. But that also means that there's not much of a way to lose this then, at all. Well, that's something I already knew, even if I would equip the racing medium, but yeah, we're fine. Yeah, the endurance didn't allow racing once. I mean, that's the whole reason why I didn't pick a racing car in the first place. Because I'm like, I'm not gonna use a racing car with sport tires or whatever. But yeah, I guess I will, because otherwise the Dodge Viper cannot do shit. And I'm pretty sure, like, you might be asking, well, you should have used, instead of that, you should have used the Cadillac. But the issue here is not the speed. The issue is that you have to use tires that are so shit that you cannot comfortably steer. That's the problem. So the Cadillac will be even worse, because it's for what I see, it's a harder to control car than the Viper. So all the time that you will gain on the straight is time that doesn't matter that much. This car, on the other hand, even using these sorry ass tires, because it's a racing car, it can do very well every time it steers, you know? It just does amazingly well. I think I used a 4WD and the tire wear was much better than the FR ones. Yeah, that's also something you can do. Some Impreza variant. I could have also used a rally car for this, which rally cars are 4WD usually. Well, usually, I'm pretty sure they have to be 4WD. I think that doing a rally without that is asking for trouble. But yeah, I think when it comes to regular car, I don't know if I have a fast one with 4WD. Because the one that I use for 4WD... Fuck, I don't remember which one I used for the 4WD even. Was it the Acura? But no, isn't that one MR? I think that... No, actually it might have been 4WD. So if the Acura was 4WD, I used that one. And well, that car for this, I don't think it will be fast enough. Not without some turbo, and I think that at that point, it will be the same problem as with the Viper. Yes, you are pretty fast and everything, but when the corner comes, you're absolutely dead. You know? So I think that ironically, there are not that many cars that you can use here comfortably at all. I thought this was gonna be way more permissive, but not really, simply because of the... Like, the tire requirement is not really the issue. The issue is that your opponent tires are apparently so resistant that they can just go for so long without having any issues. That's the real problem. That's what makes it so hard. Exclusively that and nothing else. And it's not like it's only a thing that happens with the Lotus, but the Lotus here is fast on top of the other things. If there was a random shover that takes way longer to pit, it's like, who cares? In fact, maybe one of these guys hadn't pit yet and I wouldn't know because I'm not paying attention. And because I don't need to pay attention, you know? But yeah. It's a shame though, because I really wanted to do this with the Viper, but I don't think I would have been able to, no matter what I did. I could have tried these comfort tires that this car is using, but as I already said, with better tires I was already losing distance with the Lotus. Like, the Lotus was going faster than me, even with better tires. So it's just not possible, unfortunately. Whatever. At this point, we just gotta do this endurance, and that's the end of that. But yeah. So refresh my memory, Kyle. The S license tests were all full lap tests, right? Because I'm pretty sure that was the case. Like, it was hot lap in different tracks, but like, it was exclusively that. Like, it wasn't getting a single corner. Like, it was a whole lap. Now, considering that there are 16 tests, assuming an average of 2 minutes per test, that will be 32 minutes, and that's assuming you first try everything. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen today at all. But at the same time, I feel like I would want to do this today. Been a while since I done those. I feel like I remember it being like that. You basically have to do like a time trial on a lap, and most likely the last one is Nürburgring. At this point, it's pretty clear that these guys have Nürburgring as the idealized final boss. It's understandable, don't get me wrong, but yeah, the issue is that it kinda sucks to do Nürburgring every single time. The mission really, well, now that I read how impossibly hard the mission is, the Nürburgring mission is, I can already be assured that I'm not gonna do the missions. But yeah, the remaining things that I haven't done yet are still in the table, like the special condition events and what else? The Japanese and the European events. Those are still in the manual, and obviously the extreme ones. Just that I don't remember what the extreme ones need, and I don't remember, most likely why. Because I think that I never made it that far. I feel that I never beat this Gran Turismo championship before. Wait, is this the first time that the Dodge Viper stops? No way, right? But it could be. Because I don't remember him pitting on lap 9, right? How did it last that long? 18? That's great. Well, 17 for him, I guess. That's absolutely crazy. The bikini credit girls. Yeah, surely. No, see, like, I remember beating the Gran Turismo championship, but on the PS3 games. I guess I never did in this one, but I was almost sure that I did go to the extreme events. But now that I think about it, there is no way that I somehow managed to win that. Like, there is absolutely no way. When I was a kid, guess, unless I also knew that, but I also remember using the Minolta Toyota. I remember using the R92, unless I did the Fuji Endurance. And if I did, I probably did it in B-Spec, I guess. Because yeah, maybe I did beat it by using the Nissan. Like, I just went on B-Spec and did that. So that's probably what happened. Well, if that's the case, that's interesting. I mean, the thing that I remember, and probably the only one I remember, is the Like the Wind event that also was in the previous game, that is essentially going to test course and being the fastest. And that's something that's just like in Gran Turismo 3, unless they change it here, it shouldn't be hard as long as you change the transmission to make it super extended so you can get a lot of top speed. Even with a shitty car, You wouldn't need to have a good one. Right, so next pit stop is in lap 24. Important to remember. Assume it doesn't have the power drift song. No, it doesn't. Unfortunately. But in power drift, I was thinking I should try hard the other routes of that game, but it's that game is so unhealthy to the eyes, That's the main problem it has. It's not very easy on the eyes at all. And it's also not easy to win either, Not easy to win at all. Not a good idea. Oh, that also reminds me that that the new Sonic game is releasing next month. And I still don't think I'm gonna buy it, because it's way too expensive. I feel like these companies are going a little bit too overboard with prices. I mean, especially when I don't even know how the game itself is gonna be. Yeah, something that I'm still surprised is that at this day and age, people, like companies still release games that are not free to play. Especially looking at the success of free to play games, and especially in a game that is supposed to add crossover characters, like, you know, Fortnite that adds Snoop Dogg to the game, right? Hey, why didn't you make it free to play? Because if you think to yourself, well, it's because they have to finance the game. Well, yeah, you can finance it by putting Miku in the Americana outfit and make it paid, you know? Like, sell the Americana outfit as DLC and see how you can finance the game that way, you know? And it doesn't even have to be like that. Like, you could just put one of your multiple characters that a lot of people might want to play as. Like, I don't know, you can put... what character they might... well, Tikal, I don't know. Make Tikal a pay DLC and make her, like, super detailed, and you will have a lot of furries wanting to handle their wallets to you for free. And it's not like unlike Miku, you don't have to pay your royalties because that character is yours. You will think Sega will use Nintendo's unreasonable prices to make themselves look better. Yeah, but I think it's not just that, because I feel like it will still be... oh wait, Kyle asked, will Miku have short or panties? She's using a full suit, like a swimmer, like that sort of suit. So neither is the answer. It's not her classic outfit with the skirt. It's a new outfit. And also, what I was about to say to Wasabi, even if the game was $60 or $40, I feel like a lot of big companies are just missing the opportunity of making their games free to play and having a potentially way higher revenue that way. And playable. I mean, as I say, I would love her to use the Americana outfit, but if they do that, they will have to up the rating. In fact, it's still... like, I wonder if the reason why they don't release new Project Diva games is because they will have to put them as major. Because you know that a lot of these companies that set ratings have been getting very stupid in how they evaluate that. If a game like Project Diva released today, I don't know. Then again, Megamix released 3 years ago and it's still released as like teenager, like T, like ESRB T. But ESRB M, I feel like it's something that a lot of... it's mostly because the costumes are optional. If they were the focus of the game, I'm not so sure. Oh shit. I murdered that Corvette. I didn't mean to. My bad. Sorry. Wait, that's a Viper? Isn't that the same Viper that I use? And it's in second to last place, then that's pretty sad. Like, basically the game telling you, yeah, this Viper sucks, dude. Bad purchase decision. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the Viper. Gonna get closer now, but this is the Viper. Yeah, correct. It is. It's the exact same Viper I use. And it's on second to last place. That's pretty sad. Yeah, Australia, when it comes to that sort of shit, is very bad. But whatever. I think that the moral of the story is that I think that they should go free to play. But I feel like these big companies, especially Japanese ones, feel like they should have like either pride or like the tradition of the fact that their games have to cost money. Unless it's a gacha. Like if it's a gacha, yeah, you make it free to play, guess who the fuck will pay for that shit? If anything, they will have to pay you to play it. But with traditional games, I feel like Japanese companies eventually have to realize that free to play is the way to go. I mean, Genshin Impact is a gacha. But Genshin Impact is a game that, outside of the gacha elements, it's pretty much a full-blown game. And it's free. I mean, it's the reason why with Genshin Impact release, a lot of developers had to think twice what they were gonna do. But it feels like that's not the case. I mean, not like it's something that only happens to Japanese developers. It happens to American ones as well. It's just that... Yeah, actually, I wonder. Like, don't they realize that if they release a free-to-play game... Well, I guess the problem... See, here is the thing. No, I think I know what the issue is. The problem is that if you release a free-to-play game and it's shit, you're probably not gonna get any financing. But if you release a shit game and you made it paid, like, you already probably gonna finance yourself for the morons that fell for it. But if it's free to play, people are gonna try it and I'm gonna say... They are gonna say this game is trash. And they uninstall it and they never spend money on it. But yeah, I think that's the reason. Like, most companies understand that the games that they do are mediocre at best, and their best bet are financing themselves is the initial purchase. So yeah, I think that's what's going on. It's understandable, and I mean, after all, keep in mind that in the middle you have people to pay, you have what's the word? Loans to pay. Like, you have a lot of shit that needs money. If you release it free to play with optional paid content, you do not have a single guarantee. You don't. But yeah, understandable. Actually, I've been thinking of doing something. What happens if I go into B-Spec for the second half of the race? Would that be a good idea? I don't know what you say, Kyle. Even though I'm playing Ragnarok and reading a lot of Brazilian, I still cannot understand it. And yes, I say Brazilian and not Portuguese. But should I do B-Spec? Because if I do B-Spec, and assuming I don't lose, because I could still lose, that means that I could have enough time later to do the S rank, well, the S rank, no, the S license test. Should I do it? Should I go for B-Spec? I don't know. I have my doubts. If I go for B-Spec, I could do, like, you know, increase the speed 4 times. What level is your B-Spec driver? I never been in B-Spec, so probably 0. It starts as a shitter. Well, in that case, it might not be a good idea. Then again, I have enough of an advantage, but it probably is a bad idea. Because I never use B-Spec. But I guess it will be lame. I mean, it depends. I think the two things here are lame. Like, driving this endurance is lame. But yeah, switching to B-Spec, I guess it's also lame in itself. I guess the question is, what's less lame? That would be the question. Oh, also, you know, I managed to become a warlock in Ragnarok, in Latin American Ragnarok. Today I became a warlock. And the test is so fucking shit, it's crazy. It's... I check online and people say that it's the worst third shot test in the game. And it probably is. And if it wasn't for the fact that I spent like a 10 token of Siegfried that I got from an event, I wouldn't have been able to beat it. Like, it's crazy how shit it is. Yeah. I don't know how they don't fit tests like those that are clearly not well made at all. But yeah, whatever. At least it's done now. I'm a warlock. So it's something. Man. Honestly, I wonder how far I can get. At what level I could get. I only did the Ranger one and it was also... Yeah, the Ranger one is shit. But you mostly rely on the dog AI, the dog that you have to control in the final test, that it doesn't bug out. That's the worst part of the test. Well, and the fact that you have to go to Turtle Island doesn't help either. But compared to the Warlock one, I'll explain how the Warlock one is. Well, the first part is shit, but that's not the issue. The issue is the second part. So you basically get warped into a room, like a very small room, that spawns you in the middle of 2 Nagas, 2 Aqua Elemental, 2 Dark Pingicula, and 2 Bradium Golem. And it spawns you when all of them can aggro you. Like, it's not like it spawns you away and you get closer and they appear. No. It spawns you in the middle. So they can all aggro on you the moment you move. The only good thing is that they allow you to use like 4 Warlock skills 5 times. But that's not much when you are dead. Because the main issue there are the Aqua Elementals. If it wasn't for those 2 assholes, everyone else will still be annoying, but it will be doable. But the Aqua Elementals freeze you and use Water Ball at the same time. Like, with freezing, basically they interrupt everything you do. Like, unless you have a mark card that makes you immune to freezing, you know, you are gonna get freeze. And you also need a card that makes your casting interruptible, because otherwise Frost Diver is so fast that it will interrupt anything you try to do. So essentially, it's a shitfest. What's the strat? Safety wall. Safety wall doesn't protect you from either frost diver or water ball. So no, the strategy. See, the thing is that the original strategy was throwing Storm Gust in level 1 and run. But that was back when Fixed cast worked in a different way. Throwing Storm Gust in level 1 was fast, but it's no longer fast. Like, throwing it in 1 or 10 makes no difference in terms of cast time. So, what's the strat now? I don't know what's the strat. I'll tell you what I did. I used like chain lightning, which is one of the skills they give you. Like you can only use it 5 times, but I used chain lightning to kill the aqua elemental. And then I tried to do like Quagmire, Firewall, and Storm Gust, and the remaining enemies. And the worst part is that it's 2 waves of that. The moment you kill the last monster of the first wave, a second wave spawns of the same enemies, of the same type at the same amount. So I basically had to die multiple times, because here's the thing. I don't know if this is a server bug or what, but when you spawn into a place and you cast something to an enemy, the enemy doesn't detect you. It's like you didn't move. So it doesn't detect you until it's too late and you beat them. So that's what I did. Essentially, when I spawn, I use Chain Lightning. I got a kill, I used the token of Siegfried, Chain Lightning. And that until the Aqua Elementals were dead. The other guys, I could kill them on my own, because as long as you keep them away, like none of them. Well, the Naga has a Spear Boomerang. It's the only skill that is ranged and can be an issue. But everything else that those monsters do is melee. So as long as you keep them away, they are not gonna be a problem. But yeah, the Aqua Elementals are the thing that makes that a piece of shit. Instead of putting Aqua Elementals, they should have put, like, I don't know, like Tatacho or Dolomedes. If you want to use Sash Vacuum monsters, why the fuck do you put the Aqua Elemental? Because it's not even that they are all from the splendid side of Ash Vacuum, because the Bradium Golem is from Manu. So at that point, why don't you also use another Manuk monster? Just put the Tatacho in there. And if you do that, that will still be stupid, because you spawn in the middle and you're most likely gonna get killed no matter what you do. But at least as long as you manage to keep them away from you, and wizards have a lot of skills to keep monsters away, you're probably gonna be fine. But no, it's the Aqua Elementals, the one that completely destroyed that test. That monster is so shit. And that monster is shit no matter who you're using. That's the other thing. It's not that, oh, the wizard happens to be weak against the Aqua Elemental. No. Every single character is weak against those things, because they are a badly made enemy. The only good thing is that they are exclusive from Nidhogg Nest, so you're not gonna see them outside of that shithole, but it still sucks. The fact that they exist sucks in itself, you know? Yeah, the Golden Scaraba, that would be an interesting monster to put there. Well, for anyone that doesn't play Ragnarok Online, you probably are not understanding what the fuck we are saying, so I apologize. I know how frustrating it is to hear a conversation about a game that I don't understand. Like, for example, League of Legends, like, people talk about, like, Shangler this and recall that and whatever. and I don't know what the fuck they are talking, and I don't give enough of a shit to find out either. Okay, I understand the frustration, but essentially in terms of people that don't play Ragnarok can understand. Ragnarok is an MMORPG game that has classes, right? Like essentially in this case, the mage class, you start as a mage, well, you start as a novice. You become a mage, then from mage you go to wizard, and then from wizard you go to warlock. Unless you revert and then you go to high novice, high mage, high wizard, and then warlock. Point is that to change job, you need to do a test. Like to become a warlock, you need to do a test the same way you need to do one if you want to be a wizard. And the test for warlock basically involves putting you into a room with enemies where no matter what you do, all the enemies in the room at the same time will attack you. And the thing about Ragnarok is that wizards are a class that are physically weak. So having to deal with opponents head to head is terrible. You always deal with opponents from afar. So putting you into a small room with enemies you cannot avoid no matter what you do is absolute shit. And if you cannot do that, you are not gonna become a warlock. Like you're infinitely stuck as a wizard or a high wizard. And I personally was able to beat it because I have an item that I got from an event that is not an item that you get normally in the game, that revives you when you die. So basically I revived like 10 times on the spot to win. Otherwise I wouldn't have won. That's the explanation for people that don't play Ragnarok. But yeah, essentially it's one of those tests that I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. But the most likely scenario is precisely that they were not thinking. If they were thinking, that wouldn't have happened. The moral of the story is that developers don't get enough hate. Well, the only thing I know about that is shins, and the fact that Q is most likely an ability or something. That's the only thing I can understand from that phrase. But yeah, anyways, if anyone wants to play Ragnarok online, I heavily recommend you to not do it. There are better ways to use your time. So don't waste your time playing an MMO. Even playing a gacha is a better use of your time than playing Ragnarok. Well, depends on the gacha, don't get me wrong. If it's a generic turn-based RPG gacha that is gonna close in half a year, well, no. Is Ragnarok Offline better? Ragnarok Offline is a Doshin game. It's indie. It's supposed to be a beat'em up, where you go horizontally scroll and beat enemies until you reach the end of the stage and fight a boss, and you have multiple stages. It's a beat'em up. Like, that's essentially the description, a beat'em up. So is it better? Well, it's different. Like, it's not related. But I mean, it's related in the sense that it uses things from Ragnarok Online, obviously. Like you can use a swordman, an acolyte, a mage, whatever, and the enemies are also from there, obviously. The locations and all of that, but it's a completely different game, and it's made with people that are passionate, because it's a Doshin game. You know how it is. Doshin games are people. No, the games are made by people that just do it as a hobby. They don't do it for profit, even though they profit from it sometimes, depending on how well they sell, of course. So, yes, in that regard, if you ask me about which one is like a better product, Ragnarok Battle of Line is probably a better product, yes. And I recommend you to play it, well, only if you like beat 'em ups. If you like beat 'em ups, that game is fantastic, yes. If you don't like beat 'em ups, well, I don't see why you would like it, unless you also like Ragnarok, in which case I guess you could withstand the fact that it's a beat 'em up simply to see the Ragnarok stuff. I saw a guy beat it, he used Ice Wall and wall himself. Yeah, you can use Ice Wall, but the thing about using Ice Wall is that it's very shank. And you could Ice Wall yourself, and that's assuming the Aqua Elementals don't freeze you first. Because yes, when you Ice Wall yourself, the Aqua Elementals don't see you. But they already see you when you casted the first Ice Wall. So it's only a matter if they manage to not freeze you. If you manage to not get frozen, it works, yes. Probably. I mean, I didn't try because using Ice Wall is so shank that... Not to mention that even using Ice Wall, I had Ice Wall in level 1, and on top of it, the real problem is that the enemies have an insane amount of HP, so you're not gonna kill them in a single cast. Well, Chain Lightning probably can kill it in a single cast, but the problem with Chain Lightning is that it's also gonna target Ice Wall. So the Pharaoh fights straight up murder people with epilepsy. I don't know, it's been so long since I played Ragnarok Battle of Line that I don't remember. I should play it though. I mean, that's a cool game to stream. Ragnarok Online, not so much. In fact, I've been thinking, what could I stream from Ragnarok Online? I could do, for example, an instance. Like, I can solo an instance, but that's easier said than done, you know? I could try soloing Charleston Crisis, for example. Before doing that, I will have to level up a lot. You know, that's easier said than done. Like, regardless of if I'm streaming or not, I don't think I can solo any instance until I become level 150 or something like that. Not to mention that most of the times, if you come to the point where you can solo something, it's usually not gonna be interesting to watch because it comes down to what equipment you use rather than how well you play. Well, and in my case, I have no equipment. Also, I just realized the Viper actually is stopping every 9 laps. It wasn't stopping every 18, he's stopping every 9 laps. I am tempted to stream something about Ragnarok Online, but it's just also not an interesting game to watch. And like, for example, I could stream going to a party to level up. That's not interesting to watch at all. Basically, you spamming a skill over and over again. Like, I think that the most streamable content in Ragnarok is instances. If you don't do instances, I think that it's extremely boring to stream it. I mean, it's kind of like Path of Exile. Like, Path of Exile, I cannot think of a more boring game to stream, or well, to watch, because I don't play it, but I try watching people play that game, and I'm like, no. That also applies to MMOs as well. I think the difference is that in MMOs, you have, for example, raid battles that can be interesting. But in Path of Exile, well, maybe you also have raid bosses and shit, I don't know. But that game, to me, looks so uninteresting. It just looks like such a boring game. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's like a super interesting game and I'm missing out. But I already played it once, like a long time ago. And yes, a lot of things changed, but I'm pretty sure the core of the game is still the same. And it's basically playing Diablo. And to me, Diablo is also an interesting game. In fact, pretty sure that I will say the same thing about Ragnarok Online if it wasn't for the fact that I played it when I was younger. But essentially, if you're curious about Ragnarok Online, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Do yourself a favor and don't do it. And if you absolutely want to do it, don't do it in an official server. Do it in a private server with better rates. Like with better experience and drop rates than the official. You know, this song, Not Listening, will very easily fit in a Shadow the Hedgehog game. Especially that part that says, let's settle the score. Sounds like the kind of shit that you will hear from Shadow the Hedgehog. Pretty funny. Alright, to the pits we go again. I simply do this as I say so the fuel can remain full without wasting time. It's the perfect pit stop. Like the fuel gets replenished when your tires are done, you know? It's the best thing you can do. Wait a second. Why is the Lotus not stopping? Oh, okay. He wasn't the... Never mind. He wasn't the one behind me. It was another one. I was getting scared because if the Lotus doesn't stop there, even though the race is not done, because I still can withstand a lot more laps than him in these tires. But that would have been a very heavy blow. Like that would have been something. You know, don't worry about it, we're fine. So, in case you want to know where I got this car was it the Pan-Euro tournament or was it another one? I feel like it was the Pan-Euro. No, or was it a British one? No, I think it was a British tournament. So if it was a British tournament, what car did I even use? Or was it the Pan-Euro? I don't remember. All I can tell you is that you get this car from one of the European events. So, you know, it's not even hard to get. And you don't even have to pay anything extra. You just grab the comfort tires that are free. Like I say, as a way to, you know, how you win this event comfortably, well, like that. Well, you can also do what Kyle did and bring a Subaru Impreza WRX or something like that. But yeah, it's whatever. Lotus for Potus. Yeah, the Lotus here is doing very crazy. Well, I guess it's an interesting thing that this is a battle between British cars, like Shower versus Lotus. So that's pretty interesting. But at least here we should be fine. Now I wonder what car you get for beating the S license test. Because it cannot be an LMP because Kyle already told me where the LMPs are. Speaking of car brand puns, check the Discord after the stream. I could check it during a pit stop. Like, that's probably a bad idea. I mean, I don't think this emulator has an issue with alt-tabbing, so I could do it. Well, the next pit stop is at 48, right? It's at lap 48. So in 10 laps I could check it, assuming I remember, of course. I probably will, don't worry about it. I was gonna ask. I'm surprised. Do you know, Kyle, if you get any like super fast car by beating the gold, like all gold medals in a license test? Because you know that beating the gold medals in a license test is basically the hardest thing that you can do in this game. The only one that is worth it is the silver one. Wait, you mean silver or you mean money? You know that plata here can mean both. The S1 is for the original. Gold S license is the 4. Okay. Wait, when you say the original, you mean the one from like the 70s, or you mean simply like the one that's classic? Would be interesting if it was the one from the 70s. Like, that would be quite a shitty ass reward. Can you believe doing all that shit just to be rewarded by that? I will be pissed. I feel that it will be a good reward to give you an LMP minimum. Silver is a decent car, but only 200 HP. It's just that I feel like in that case the reward is not really like, it doesn't go well with the effort, right? Like, it's not proportional. It's the 4 from 1915, then that really sucks. I mean, obviously, if you're a collectionist, it's like, sure, but Like for example, the reward from this endurance makes sense. And the reward from the missions, like the last 4 missions, also makes sense. But the gold medals from the license test are very hard. So I will expect something impressive. Ideal for the speed course. Yeah, I'm sure it is ideal for the speed course. I am absolutely sure. Oh wait, you know what? I just realized that this car has Gran Turismo imprinted into the paint. That's pretty funny. I wonder if the real car also has that. I'm assuming that Gran Turismo logo is basically about the first one, probably. Now I really hope that with the Minolta Toyota doing the GT championship is not an insane pain in the ass. I hope, but it's hard to tell. Did you do it with that one, Kyle, or did you do it with the Nissan? Or did you do it? No, actually, knowing you probably did with the Mazda, right? Did you farm for the Mazda? I use the dark cars. Would I have purchased one of those? Because they appear in specific days, right? I'm pretty sure that one of the days probably already happened. Because I don't know what days you have to purchase them on. On day 693. Only on that one. It's 193 to 700. So they only appear there and then never again. What's so special about that number? They are about 900,000 each. Oh, they are affordable. But I'm curious to see them. But you will, well, assuming that I get to that point, because maybe the day counter is not gonna go that far. They rotate every 2 years or so. Yeah, he means about in-game years, obviously. He doesn't mean literal years. And how does it work? Like, do you go to a used car showroom and they appear there? Or what's the idea? Yeah, I probably will die of old age before. Yes, they are there. Okay. And how many appear once that happens? Like, let's say that you reach day 693. One of them appears or all of them appears? All 4. Right, so in that time period, they are all available. Save about 4 million. Well, I have 1 million right now, so. As I say, I don't think I'm gonna go that far. Though considering that I plan to do all of the special condition events, it is possible, but I have my doubts. But I don't know if the money that I will get, assuming I can beat the extreme events, I don't know how much money I will get from that. Now, I have another question. Did you not do it with the Minolta because you didn't want to, or because it was too hard to do it? Because now I'm scared. Because if you say that even with an LMP that shit is hard, I don't know what to think. Yeah, I know, you can... Like, I know that you can essentially enter an event and it counts as a day. Like, you enter and exit immediately, yes, I know. Like, there are easy ways to do that, but... Use the black Mazda or the black Nissan. I mean, that's fine. But my question is, did you do that because you simply felt like it? Or did you do that because beating it with the Minolta was too hard? Because here I'm thinking that, oh, I get the Minolta, that's it, I win. And I might get my ass kicked again, which will be very humiliating. And it will have made this endurance completely a waste of time, well, more than it already is. I just think the Minolta trades off a bit of everything for just the speed. Well, but it's my only option. That's the issue. Mazda was more balanced. Yeah, the problem is that with the Mazda I will have to farm money and I don't wanna do that. And the other option will be doing the Fushi Endurance and get the Nissan. And I don't know. At least the good thing is that the Minolta should completely destroy it in the oval, I will assume. Like in the second race in Twin Ring Motegi, it should be free. Though, then again, I don't think speed is the main thing about that race. Despite being an oval, the turning is still important, so... I don't know, I will have to see. I mean, if I cannot do it with the Minolta, I will have to... I will have to cry. I will have to cry to cope and to see all of that. It's fine. I have faith in both the Minolta and myself. If it ends up not working, well, it's fine. At least we tried possibly the best. Like, we tried the intended way, you know? The intended way, because I gotta assume that's the intended way. Since, well, farming, that's the thing. You can also farm money to get them. And farming, considering that this mode is about managing money, I guess that's intended as well. But go to Tamikaira and buy your car a can of nitrous, and for a can of copium. Just a can? Will that be enough? I'm not sure. It might not be enough. Ah, shit. But yeah, it's something that I will... Like, tomorrow is when I find out if that's a good idea or not. I hope it is. But hey, it might not be. And if it's not, I will have to I will have to retire from racing games in shame. Just in shame. Well, I'm sure that that's something that a lot of people wouldn't mind. Because I understand that racing games might not be the most interesting to watch. But yeah, I do like them quite a lot. The defeated male leaves. So yeah. But that's only if I get defeated. And that's something that we will see tomorrow. Assuming like this race is pretty much won. But yeah, that's assuming that nothing bad happens here. And I still don't know that. There could be something bad in here. I cannot know. And I'm starting to feel worried about Toho 20. As I will play it when it releases, but you know, speaking of getting humiliated, I feel like I'm gonna play that game and I'm gonna get completely humiliated by how much I'm gonna get fucked. And that's a problem. I don't want that to happen. So, yeah. That's an issue. But there's not much I can do. Like, the game comes out and I gotta play it, you know? Like, playing it is not an option, I will play it. But beating it is something that I don't know if I can manage. We will see. I don't have much hopes of doing well in that game. In fact, something tells me I'm gonna mold a lot at that game. Something tells me that game will make me go to UFO levels of molding. So yeah, I am scared. Yeah, apparently it releases in a week. It's just that it releases in a week at Comic-Con. It doesn't release in a week on Steam. It's gonna be a couple days later. I also gotta prepare. Gotta play some other Toho games to get used to. To get used to playing Toho. As you know that I've been practicing Ketsui a lot off stream. And the thing about playing Ketsui or any cave shoot 'em up with the delayed focusing is that the moment you go back to play a shoot 'em up that doesn't have delayed focusing, it becomes very hard to do so. Like, it takes a little bit to start connecting your brain the right way. So yeah, that could be an issue. But we will see. the Dodge Viper here. How many times have I lapped this guy? Remember passing by him when he was on the pit stop, but I might have like lapped him more times than that. Maybe no, I don't know. Well, I'm not gonna lap him now since I have to pit stop. I wonder if I will be able to lap the Lotus. Because I don't know which one the Lotus is in the minimap. So here I'm gonna do two things. Since I wanted to check what I've been sending Discord, I'm gonna save stage just in case alt tabbing somehow fucks the game up. And I'm also gonna check. So first, we do this, and then I open Discord. What are you showing me? Crimson Viper in a Crimson Viper. Shilling Capcom for free? Let's see, Viper is not even... See, Viper is not even out. The Viper is still... Well, actually, I think she's the next one. After Sagat. Already trying to build up hype. Not even a Volcanic Viper. Well, if I had to choose between playing Street Fighter 6 and Guilty Gear Strive, I will pick Street Fighter 6, you know, personally. Know that Guilty Gear is pretty different from what it used to be. So yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those things that, yeah. Is it less guilty now? Technically, yes, since they censor some characters that show a lot of skin. So technically it is less guilty, yes. Correct. These shocks grind my gears. Well, the shower is also grinding its gears. So it's not having much trouble with it. But it could be better thanks to the tires. The Guilty Gear Strive, yes. It's basically very safe in terms of trying not to offend anyone. In fact, I think there was an entry in the codex that says something about, I don't know if China or Taiwan, and they had to change it. So yes, the Strive is trying to not offend anyone. Indeed. Which is kinda the opposite of what Guilty Gear is supposed to be, you know, it's supposed to be a punk game, metal, supposed to be about rebellion and you know, giving no fucks. But it kinda turned into the opposite of that. It turned into like a safe, like generic anime shonen story, right? Not like it was a masterpiece of storytelling before. In fact, fighting games when it comes to storytelling are trash, with the exception of Blaze Blue. And even that one depends on which game we're talking about. But yeah, in terms of Guilty Gear, the storytelling was always trash. The difference is that the style was very good. You look at the menus and the whole like music and everything from a game like Guilty Gear headsets, for example. That game looks fantastic. But yeah, Strive not so much. I mean, Strive looks good when it comes to graphical fidelity. The lack of justice, well, justice, I think technically appears in the games, just under a different form. Well, I do know that in the story mode of Edzard, Justice appears in the story mode. It's like supposed to be one of the main opponents or something. I don't know. It's been so long since I played that I don't remember. And it's not like it was good enough to remember it either. Because it's pretty easy to talk shit about Strive. But if you play the story mode of Edzard, it's whatever. It's quite shitty. Because I mean, you know that back then, this type of fighting games and such, the story was more of a thing to style the game. Like, you know, you have all this shit that is backstory or the way things look, and it's just there to complement the game itself. It's not something meant to be taken seriously. Like for example in Street Fighter about the Shadaloo organization and all that shit, that the only reason it exists is to be like, you know, the final boss is a dictator. That's it. It doesn't serve any other purpose in Street Fighter 2. That's the only reason. And it shouldn't have gone any further than that. But yeah, unfortunately, you know, games that came afterwards tried to make it more serious and tried to expand on the story. And you could say there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is that the moment they try to expand it, you realize how shallow everything is. Like the moment you try to take out the mystic elements from games where story is not the main focus, you start realizing that those elements are not really that interesting when you try to explain them, you know? And Guilty Gear, I think, is the perfect example of this. In Guilty Gear Edzard, I remember the game trying to explain a lot of things that were loose from like the original, like Eds and Eds, right? And it's not really that interesting when you start explaining everything in detail. You should realize that everything was a style over substance, and it's fine that it's that way. It doesn't have to be something that has substance, since it was supposed to be, as I said before, complementary, right? But yeah, when they start trying to give it substance, it falls flat because it never had one to begin with, you know? Try not to have a tournament in it challenge, while with Justice, I don't think Justice was extremely played. I remember seeing some people playing Justice, but you know. I think that in headsets, people usually pick Testament or Zappa, simply because they are the type of annoying characters that force you to block forever. More Testament than Zappa, because Zappa has RNG, but Testament can... It's a beast. That's the name of the move. It can basically mix you up with that shit, and it's never your turn. The Testament was a little bit broken in headsets. Depends on which version of headsets though. I think the final one, Accent Core Plus R, or whatever the name is, that one Testament is absolutely busted. Regardless, what I'm trying to say is that fighting games stories are never interesting enough to need expanding upon, I personally feel. And BlazBlue is the exception, as I say, but I think that in BlazBlue what happened is... Oh, yeah, alright. Is the fact that a lot of writers have this problem. That is that they show a lot of stuff that initially looks grandiose, and when they start trying to develop the idea further, they cannot handle that. It's like they made a big promise at the beginning and they don't deliver. And because it's simply beyond their ability. What about Tekken stories? Well, Tekken is also the perfect example of a game where the story is purely complementary. Like in Tekken, basically every character has its own story, but the story is extremely basic. Like for example, King needing money to help a group of orphans. And he's a wrestler, that's it. He doesn't need anything else. He's a wrestler that only talks in groans, which is pretty funny, and he needs money for orphans. That's King's story. And then you have, like, for example, martial law. For example, he, if I'm not mistaken, the story is that he needs to pay rent, and like because he has a dojo and shit. And he struggles to do that, so every time he enters the King of Iron Fist tournament, right? Like Tekken characters have stories like that, very one-dimensional, and mostly they're just to be an excuse on what the character is like. And they are good for that. Like the way they complement it, I feel like it's very good. But the moment you try to take it to a more serious approach, the way Tekken 7 and 8 try to do is where I feel that it falls flat, because it just looks stupid. You apparently have something like an event involving the whole world, and you suddenly have these fighters like dodging bullets and doing all sorts of stupid shit that was never really the idea of the series, you know? Like when you start to get serious in games like those, it's where I feel it fails, and it happens every time. Because it's simply not that deep. Like it was never meant to be that deep. But when you try to make it deep, you realize, wait, what is this? Tekken is over the top, yeah, that's the thing. Being over the top, it should remain over the top, you know? And by over the top, I mean the fact that yes, you have ridiculous things like King always speaking in groans instead of using words, and somehow everyone understands him anyways, right? That sort of stupid shit is pretty funny and it's cool. But that's why, precisely why, when you try to be a serious story mode like 7 and 8, to me it just fails. Like, they're just trying to make something serious out of something that is not serious. Instead, I feel like the perfect way to handle the story is the way that, well, basically every game until 5 did, which is you have an arcade mode, where they have a little cutscene of why they will enter the King of Iron Fist tournament, why each character will enter, and then an epilogue with each one of them getting the money and doing what they want with it. And that's it, you don't need any continuity to that. Like basically, Every character with their own motivations does their things, and basically every ending happens at the same time because it obviously depends on what character you use, so every ending is canon, quote unquote, right? I feel like that's the perfect way to handle fighting game stories, and never try to do something more than that. The exception, again, being BlazBlue, because BlazBlue is a visual novel. Like, BlazBlue presents the story as a visual novel from the very beginning, and it tries to tell a story that is deeper than the average fighting game story, even though, as I said, at the end it turns out that it's not that extremely great when it tries to get to the climax, but the storytelling in the first two BlazBlue games is good. Like, we're not talking about a masterpiece of literature, especially with the amount of anime tropes you have, but like, it's interesting and entertaining enough to serve as a full-blown story with details, with lore, and that takes itself seriously, on top of also having a fighting game, Like, in that regard, you can do that, but that obviously requires a lot of effort. And back then, BlazBlue was more of a passion project than something that was made for profit, which is precisely the reason why the last BlazBlue game was released like 12 years ago. It's precisely a passion project. It's not something that is made to make a profit. I mean, it is, because it's a corporate product. It is made to make a profit, but the way it's made, it's not made to maximize profit. It's made first and foremost as a work of art that the developers wanted to do, and then as a product. And that's something that, well, not every company can afford to do, and not every company will want to do. Obviously, most companies just want the profit, it makes sense. So, because of that, if you make a fighting game, I feel like the furthest the story should go is arcade, prologue, and epilogue. And if you want something else, do it the way BlazBlue does it. And I don't think you will want to. So, yeah. That's what I think. More importantly, and this is something that apparently every fighting game developer is unable to process in their heads, make your game free to play. So that way, because I feel like that's what people are filtered by the most. Like, you can say that yes, a lot of people get beat online and they stop playing because they got salty or whatever. Yeah, sure. But I feel like precisely because of that bad experience that one of them might have is that they stop even buying fighting it, because they are like, hey, well, I'm gonna pay like $60 to get salty. Instead, if it was free to play, they would just, get whatever I downloaded. And if you do it well, you can get them hooked, and you can actually get them to spend money on it, on the optional stuff that you can purchase. But apparently no fighting game developer was ever smart enough to do that. Riot wants to do it, like, the same assholes that did League of Legends. Problem is that they do it with a game that sucks and also only has 8 playable characters. So the idea of making it free to play is good. Problem is, what's not good is the game, But that's the thing. Even with a game that is gonna be that shit, you will still have people playing it simply because it's free. Like, that's the crazy thing. That game is absolute trash, but it doesn't matter. A lot of people will play it simply because it's free. And that probably will allow it to continue development. Or maybe not. Maybe the game is so shit that like 90% of the people that downloaded it uninstall it. And they are forced to shut down the service. It's possible. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm curious to see what happens. Because I think that so far, almost every game that Riot released has been a success, more or less, right? You have League of Legends, Valorant, and Runeterra, I think it's the other one called. And all those games are more or less popular. I mean, well, League of Legends is tremendously popular, but so is Valorant and so is Runeterra, or Runeterra, I don't know how that shit is pronounced, but they are games that have people playing them. So I think that this one, it will be funny if it's the only one that doesn't. But I feel like it will give people the wrong idea. It will give people that fighting games are the issue, when in reality the issue is that the game is shit. Managed to kill the fourth boss in Arknight's roguelite. Well, congratulations. I'm still in the endurance, so anything that you had to try hard basically took less time than me beating this shit. Can you believe that? It is the case, believe it or not. Believe it or not, it is the case. It's fine. We are almost done, don't worry about it. Only 9 laps remaining. Could be worse. Emu crash. Well, I mean, I save state in one of the pit stops, and I'm gonna do it again on the next pit stop. So even if the emulator manages to crash, we still have some backup. Hey, don't worry about it. We are covered. Obviously, the problem will be if the crash happens every single time despite loading state. Yeah, but we will see. I mean, I still overall don't really know why the crashes happen when they happen in this game, so you don't really draw any conclusion on that. Yeah, that's fine. So we pit stop here. You know, the thing that could happen is me loading the state instead of saving it. And that will be extremely sad. But it is indeed possible. Can you imagine? I think I already did that a couple of times, but with games that don't really matter. I mean, I usually don't save or load state at all. Wait, the Lotus is making a pit stop? So it did it 1 lap earlier. His lap is the lap 59. Sure, I mean, I don't care. I mean, it doesn't make a difference since it's the last pit stop. I could have also done it earlier. In fact, if I had done it earlier, I probably would have done the race overall faster, but who gives a shit? Too late now. Right, on to the pits. And on to the save state. Just like that. There was a streamer for a game on a world record pace until his dog jumped into the keyboard and loaded a save state. Well, that's unfortunate. Reason number 100 to not have pets. Hey, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Well, it's something that I cannot relate. Not just because I don't have pets, but because I never been in a world record run on anything. You know. Like, despite how much I play video games, I never been a world-class player in any game. In any game. At all. That's because I cannot stand like playing the same game over and over again until I get good. It's just not my thing. Like, I just get bored easily. Well, not to mention that I don't like speedruns either. But yeah, even if it's competitive games like Street Fighter or whatever, the amount of preparation you need to do, I feel like it's not worth it. Carl ruins Earthbound round. And why would you wanna speedrun Earthbound? Holy shit. Earthbound? Really? I mean, I know that people speedrun every game in existence, but then Earthbound. That's crazy. Like, it's almost as bad as the people that speedrun Pokemon. You know that, like, Pokemon speedruns are so shit. I think it's one of the main reasons why I stopped watching speedrunning events. The variety is the spice of life. That's the reason why I also can never play the same game on stream over and over again, you know. I love single player speedruns. Well, personally, when it comes to speedruns, I don't mind watching speedruns of games that are less than an hour long and that are, you know, something that requires well, actually, the fact that it's less than an hour long should be good enough. There are exceptions of games that are extremely shitty, but for the most part, if the speedrun is less than an hour long, it tends to be enjoyable to watch. But yeah, that's it. To watch. I will never do a speedrun myself. I feel like doing speedruns is so miserable. Like, it's something that you always strive to do better, but it's never enough. Oh, it's never enough. That's a pretty cool song. Okay, it's never enough. And there can only be one world record. And of course it can be yours, but to get there you have to do a repetition that I'm not a fan of. I think speedruns take the enjoyment out of games. Yeah, exactly. Like, the moment you start speedrunning a game is the moment you will start hating that game. But yeah, as you say, watching them can be nice, but as I say, only if it's a short speedrun. Because yeah, go watch a speedrun of Pokemon Platinum, just to give a random example of a Pokemon game. Like, those speedruns are trash. Like, I don't care how much skill might be involved, usually not much. It tends to be knowledge and RNG for games like that. But, well, yeah, I mean, it certainly, reactions is something that doesn't tend to be the case. Aside from menu skipping and all that shit, but Yeah, the point is try watching that speedrun without falling asleep or without tabbing out. I cannot understand how people speedrun those games, and that's what Kyle was saying with Airbound. Like, speedrunning a game like Earthbound, dude? Are you for real? Like, what are you even doing? Obviously, yeah, I'm not gonna king shame, okay? If you wanna do it, that's fine. If it makes you happy, well, that's another thing. If it makes you happy, most speedrunners that I've seen speedrunning outside of events are extremely miserable. Like, they hate the game, they hate themselves, and they hate life. Like, because it's something that is so hard what they are doing, and as I say before, it's never enough. You need to be faster and faster, and entire runs are rendered worthless by a single mistake. And of course they are gonna be miserable. I will be miserable too. So yeah. I watch a guy speedrun Monhunt Freedom and Unite. Game is so hard and shank I can stomach the 32-hour run. Well, but that's because you're a Monster Hunter fan. Pretty sure if instead of Monster Hunter it was Assassin's Creed, it would be a different story. You know? And Assassin's Creed is also extremely shank. Oh yeah. That also affects what you will be willing to watch or not, I guess. I personally will never be able to watch a full run speedrun that is longer than an hour. And already an hour is like you're pushing it. You're pushing my patience. Because otherwise I will just watch a playthrough. At least by watching a playthrough I have someone experiencing the game for the, well, either for the first time or not, but at least like interacting with the game as a regular player instead of, you know, ignoring half the shit, well, or more than half the shit, simply because it's unoptimal. Obviously, I mean, that's what you gotta do as a speedrunner, you just gotta do what's faster. But by doing that, essentially, you're barely playing the game the way it was intended. So for a long speedrun, you might as well just watch a playthrough. And I don't watch playthroughs. So what I'm trying to say is that at that point, might as well just not watch anything, you know? It's fine. Everyone has their things that they prefer doing, watching. I personally, one of those things is not speedruns. That's for sure. And I always say this. I always found speedruns to be not my thing. It's whatever. I don't mind. Do you like sports? I used to like watching tennis, but lately I don't really like watching anything. And that's not just sports, that's like movies, series. Well, I never really like movies, but I don't like passive entertainment usually. Like, I watch streamers, don't get me wrong. I do sometimes watch streamers, but it tends to be very, very little. You mean esports? I also used to watch like Street Fighter tournaments and shit. Finish recording replay, what? Oh, it's because it's too long. Huh. I didn't remember that, but yeah, I think this game, since you record replays that you can play back at any time, endurances are so long that eventually they stop recording. So hey, you could have hold on like one more lap, dude. Come on. One more lap would have been enough to record the whole thing. But yeah, what I was out to say is that I used to like Street Fighter tournaments and shit. Lately, I don't really care that much. And lately, as I said, I also really barely watch streamers in general. Like, when it comes to watching, I just don't do it. Like, I usually play. Sometimes, obviously, when I'm streaming like this, but sometimes also off stream like I do with Ragnarok Online, or as I was saying, like practicing Ketsu because I feel like it. But usually watching exclusively, no. Love watching speedruns to see how they murder the game. Yeah, that can also be interesting, but usually those speedruns tend to be short. They usually don't go into long territory. Yeah, I like ports. The interesting thing is that even if I live in a port city, the port was very far. It's not like I live next to the port. In fact, that's the thing about port cities. Since port cities tend to be the most important that any country has, most likely scenario is that you're not gonna live next to the port. Because it's gonna be a gigantic city and you're probably gonna be in some random spot in the middle of nowhere. Alright, just in case I'm gonna save state before the finish line in case something goes badly. But yeah, we got it. Well, we got it. Unfortunately, I cannot feel proud for this because I would have liked to do this with the Dodge Viper. But yeah, I guess we do it with a racing car like this one. And yeah, obviously this racing car is gonna leave everyone in the dust. It's obvious. Doesn't take a genius to figure it out. At least we had 250 grands, but that's not what I'm here for. What I'm here for is... Wait for it. Wait for it. Gonna appear. There you go. The Minolta Toyota. One of the Le Mans prototypes and basically my only hope to win the Gran Turismo World Championship. That's what I did this for, not because I like El Capitan and much less because it's an endurance. But yeah, that car will be necessary. Now here's the thing. Since obviously doing the championship right now won't be enough to finish it because it's very long, what I had for a plan B today after that endurance is trying to do the final license test, that is the S license. This, well, super license. This license is not really necessary for anything other than extreme events. But the thing is that the moment I beat the Gran Turismo World Championship, the extreme events get unlocked. And those require this. So doing it now, I think it's a good idea. So as expected, and as I say before, every test here is a hot lap. Like basically doing a whole lap in a track. And well, obviously getting the required time. You will eat a ship full of fish. Give the Minolta a try to get used to the speed, don't want to start shoving halfway through. Well, but even trying is something that's not gonna magically make me not shove halfway through, you know? Like, that's the kind of thing in a championship like that every race has to... Hold up, this was a bad start. This car can brake very well. So braking this early is a waste of time. This car can brake like this. You can go very far with it and It also steers very well. Well, it's a racing car. That's also something that I expect from the Super license, that most of the cars that you get are racing cars. I hope. Because honestly, dealing with shitty cars is something I rather not do. I already have basically every other license to deal with shitty cars. Now, the tracks, it seems like they will be like full length. They are not gonna do anything short. Ooh, okay. This thing steers well, but you gotta be careful regardless. Like, it steers well, but don't push it. Like, it's not a premier racing car. It's one of those racing cars that is from the lower leagues. Well, you can tell that because of the almost non-existent speed. Well, almost non-existent speed for a racing car. You can tell that in a straight it's barely reaching 160. But yeah, this is more like a sports car turned racing more than anything else. Well, if even counts as a sport car. I mean, I guess it is. Because I guess someone having this one as a commute car will be more of a luxury. But yeah. So the question is, how far am I gonna be from silver in these events? I wonder. Gonna be 221 for silver here. Alright, we got the silver on this one. Nice. I like it. But yeah, that's something that I should also not get picky with, you know? Like, if I don't get silver in one, I shouldn't try harder. It will depend on how many... Oh, really? In this one? This is a track that you usually don't see because it's only in the... Oh, you've... Man... I guess it was hopeless to expect having only racing cars. God damn it, dude. I thought you learned your lesson, game, but it's pretty clear you did not. Well, here's the thing. This is a track that has very close walls and is very narrow. So a racing car here, depending on which one it is, could have trouble. But at the same time, I remember doing one of the races here with a racing car, and it basically did way better than any other car, simply because the steering and the braking was perfect. So even an extremely narrow track like this was way better to do with a racing car that, yes, was... Fuck. What? Okay. Yeah, don't mind that. We're fine. I almost got an aneurysm there. It's fine, don't worry about it. Damn, that slalom though. That was hot. Anyways, the point is that even if a racing car is faster, simply because how good it performs with corners, the speed does not matter. If anything, it's more fun to do, because you're going fast and you're able to control it. So you feel like you are riding a lion. You have this insanely powerful beast and you're in control. But instead here we have to drive with Grandpa's car, you know? So I don't really feel... Well, feeling in control is not an achievement, I guess. I don't think we're gonna get. We're not getting the silver by very little, though. We will see. It's a shame. But I don't expect to get silver. Huh. And the character model was smiling. I didn't know that. I thought that they all had like a neutral expression, but he was like, yeah, this is gonna suck. It's fine. Well, this car is fast. It's not a racing car though, so we will see how it does. What does it say, Saline? What brand even is this? I don't know. It's a cool car though. I mean, it looks cool, that's for sure. It obviously doesn't steer as well as a racing car, but I really like the way it looks. It looks like one of those cars that in old cartoons it was idealized how a future car would look. Like how cars in the future will look. This kinda looks like that, like a science fiction car, except that it's a real car. So I like it, it's a cool car. In fact, I'm even tempted to purchase it if that's even possible. A lot of cars in this game you cannot purchase them, you have to earn them as a reward from an event. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, we're not getting silver here. The finish line is pretty far away. And not even close. Not even close. 3 seconds away from silver. And yes, I didn't do well in a couple of corners, but damn. Like, alright. I was expecting it being a little bit closer. Wait, isn't this a rally track? Oh no, never mind, it's this one. Well, we have a rally car. It is... I mean, it is a rally track, but... you do... like, it's asphalt. Doesn't have dirt or ice. And I am surprised that you are made to do the races here, considering that these races outside of special condition events never happen. Oh shit. Nice jump. This thing is a little bit weird though, I gotta say. The handling is weird. Like, it oversteers quite a bit. I mean, it's a rally car, right? It makes sense, but... oh, fuck. Another thing I realized. It oversteers because it has no racing aids. You will see the bottom left icon, the one with the exclamation mark. That one, when racing aids are enabled, there is a very faint light blue, but that starts blinking the moment they get used. But when they are not used, there is still a color there. So here you can see that they are completely black, like that. That icon is completely black, which means that there are no racing aids here, and that explains the oversteering. Because outside of that situation, it usually never happens in this game that a vehicle that you use oversteers. Precisely because... wow, that wasn't fail. Alright, that's nice, thank you. I'm glad that wasn't failure. But it almost was. These hairpins are fucked up. It is obviously not gonna be silver with how shitty I drive, but... wait, no way. That's silver? Okay. Damn. Not sure what to say. That was very bad. Like the way I drive, but it doesn't matter. Wait, is this the third time that I use the Ford GT to drive in a Seattle, in the Seattle circuit in this game? Because I feel like it is. It might be the third time legitimately. Not just because of the license test, but also there was a mission like this. A mission that, by the way, I was able to beat. So I'm very proud. Pretty curious. Oof, that was rough. Okay. Actually, that was fine, that corner. So I did it too early, but I don't think it was too early. Uh-oh. Almost lost control. Keep in mind that racing aids are enabled here, so that's something. I wonder if instead of having picked the Dodge Viper, if I had picked the Ford GT, I would have been able to fare better or not. It was very good. Well, in fact, a second and a half faster and would have been gold. So that's useless to say because, yeah, just do a second and a half faster, right? Okay, this is an ice track, also with a rally car. A Hyundai, huh? It has the same colors as the Toyota because of Castrol being the company behind it. So there's something that we've seen about rally in this game that, despite the fact that it might look very unimpressive to me or to you, that the game is not very picky when it comes to the time required. So even this disaster that I'm doing right now might be enough for silver. Maybe not, maybe it won't, but it's a possibility. Because it already happened, that's why I'm saying it. Oh, that chicane is so messed up. Wow, it was even enough for gold. See, this is what I mean. Like, you might look at that and be like, no way, that was so shit, how did you get gold? Yeah, it's exactly what I'm asking, but it is. I mean, I'm not gonna say no to gold. Oh, this car. This is the same car from the Nürburgring mission. Like, basically, giving anyone this car will give it PTSD. I can no longer look at this car in any other way. With that Nürburgring mission, I see this car and I'm like, I don't want to use it. Give me something else. That Nürburgring mission is extremely fucked up. On the right side, this is a car that I haven't seen much in any game usually. The ones that you see a lot are the AMG, the Mercedes AMG. This one, I don't think I've seen it that much. So that's good. Less PTSD for me. Okay. Unfortunately, one of the corners at the beginning was pretty bad, so I think that the silver is not gonna happen simply because of that. But whatever. That's fine too. That's not fine. Interesting drift. I did not intend to do that. Would have been worse. Yeah, though that's something that seems pretty natural for this car. And like it also happens a lot in Nürburgring. You start braking a little bit just to take a corner normally, and it's like, is this the initial D? And just goes horizontal in the track. Alright, Tokyo with a racing car. Hey, that's nice. I like that idea. Well, anything involving a racing car is a good idea. Unless it's one of those racing cars from the 70s that it's only there for collection reasons, but they suck in terms of performance. Those are not very nice. But this one is nice. Well, at the time it probably was the best thing you had. We're no longer in the 70s, you know. The one thing I gotta remember in this track is this chicane that you can take it at full speed. Well, yeah, assuming you don't hit the wall. That chicane is basically my nemesis in this track. That chicane is so evil. It was put there by Tommy Kaira. Well, speaking of Tommy Kaira, you have the advertisement in the walls to remind you. To remind you of him. I'm actually struggling. All this praise about it being a racing car, and yet I am struggling a little bit. Okay, that was a good corner by pure luck, but it was. Alright, that's good too. Is that this car seems like it has the same issue as the previous one. You brake a little and you think, and it thinks that you're playing initially. Starts drifting. That was unfortunately very slow. We'll see if I can at least get this chicane right. Would be nice. Okay, at least that hit was a lot softer, so no problem. I think that all of these corners I could take them a lot faster than this. And I'm not simply because, you know, skill issue. Yeah, that's fine. So 136 for silver. The finish line is close to the end of the straight, so it might not happen. It will not happen, and by quite a lot, in fact. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this car. I didn't mean to retry though. So yeah, get out of there. I'm assuming that even if I put retry, the bronze still counts, right? Okay, and this is the coffee break. Wait, what? Huh? Okay. When they say the maze, they were not joking. This is an actual maze. Though I'm not really concerned about the maze. I'm more concerned about the fact that this car is so shit. Hey, look at this, dude. Hey, this is some shit. Him. Holy fuck. I don't think polyphony that this is a good idea, personally, if you ask me. Promise that by doing that I'm going back to the place I was before. Well, not a bad idea, considering there is still that. Getting the silver here will probably, no, it will require you to know exactly what path to take, so... Yeah, I don't know about this one, polyphony. I don't think I'm a fan of it, personally. It's pretty original, though, I guess. But damn, this is something. Where did I forget to go? I don't know. Probably here on the right, but... I mean, it's not a very long place. Oh, well, you have a couple here. In fact, it looks longer because of that thing in the back. But the maze itself is not long. Now, I don't know if the coffee break silver medal is required to get the silver reward, but if it is required... Wow, and I miss a cone. You can actually go outside of the minimap. That's funny. I have no idea where I missed the cone, though. I literally one cone. How will I know? How am I gonna find that remaining cone? I don't know. Okay, there. Damn, and against the wall. That's being an asshole. I mean, here... there is essentially no perfect route, in the sense that you will have to go back and forth if you wanna get every cone. Damn. That's something. Hey, I already went from an end. No way. With the Dodge Viper? Is the game trying to say something? Yeah. Can't believe the game will call me out like this. I feel offended. The game actually decided to call me out like this. Can you believe it? Yeah. Yes, I didn't do the endurance with this car because this car has been a disappointment. Sorry. It looks pretty nice though, I gotta say. It's a very pretty looking car, but that's not enough when you're trying to win, you know? Now the good thing is that a 2-minute lap time is something I can get. But keep in mind that back then I had the... well, the tires here, I'm assuming they are better, but I had the supercharger when I did the endurance, and here I'm assuming you don't. That corner is still fucked up, even when your tires are not busted. The one that goes into the second bridge. Well, second, I think it's the second. Okay, that was very clean. I mean, at least when there is not a lot to surround, I think I can do well. And that was silver as well. Alright, that's cool. But yeah, at this point I don't think I should worry about silver. Though, getting bronze is not particularly challenging here. Wait, what track is this? Oh, it's a dirt track. Okay. With the... Wait, what does that say? Starion 4WD Rally. Okay. Well, this one, just like the ice track, it's very possible that even though it looks like our performance is shit, it's most likely gonna be either gold or silver. So yeah, keep that in mind. No, we shouldn't get cocky. That's not healthy. So this is an extremely, it's not as bad as the unavoidable Nürburgring test is gonna be, but it's like it's almost 3 minutes. Well, 3 minutes assuming that you go for bronze. Well, go for bronze. Like, if you are not fast enough for the other ones, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to go very slow because these corners are ultra fucked up. Very, very... Oh, fuck me. Yeah, that's something I could have done a lot faster. If this still somehow manages to be silver though, I just gotta assume that the people that tested these times were absolute trash at rally. But I don't know. I mean, if the people that tested these times did it without racing, well, I guess that will explain it. Because doing something like this without racing, well, it's probably infinitely harder than doing it with the D-pad. But with the D-pad, with a gamepad in general. Because with a racing wheel, you constantly have to move your arms extremely fast. Like back and forth, so that the car does not lose control, you know? That's something that it's very tiresome, obviously, but it also requires you to have some very good reactions. Well, very good coordination in general. That was not silver, though. Yes, it was too slow after all. Don't worry about it. I'm not gonna go for silver. Like, I'm not gonna go for silver because of that one race that one test that were like 3 full seconds. Those 3 full seconds seem like a real issue. We're using a very fat Renault Clio, I don't know. Assuming it's Clio. But why is it so fat? But I'm assuming it's like that so it can fit more people since it's supposed to be a commute car. So for being a commute car, it feels like it's very fast. This car... Yeah. Guess I couldn't keep control there. It's fine though. Oof. Was close. The way this thing drives, it's very fast. compared to what you would expect from a car like this. But if you try to steer like too wild, you're gonna lose control. Hey, I'm surprised, like, isn't this supposed to be a commute car? Hey, why is it going so fast? Ah, shit. Yeah, that's what I mean. If you try to steer wildly, it loses control. Like, if you're going fast, you gotta slow down. Not because you're gonna go against the wall, but because you're gonna lose control. It's a very annoying car to drive. Okay. At least I'm glad that I can do that sequence of corners without that many complications. I don't know how I should brake, cause I mean, I should brake during the straight. Yeah. Okay, I was lucky that that hit didn't count like a failure. Because it really, the moment you're going fast and you try to brake, it drifts a lot. And you can tell that the racing aids are enabled, so it's not for the lack of those. And that won't even be close to silver either. I mean, you can say that it's 1 second apart, but I don't think I did that badly, and yet it still was a second apart, so it will be a problem. This is one of the cars I have. I think I unlocked this car in a for winning the GT Japanese tournament, right? It's the one that you get from there, most likely. That series of corners will always be hard to do. And that one I could have done it faster. I wonder if those times that you're seeing up there are supposed to be like real life lap times. Because they don't end in like the regular milliseconds you would expect, or maybe they are dev times, And after all, this is a Japanese track. They probably put extra care into the medals because of that. Unfortunately, here we cannot skip the chicane at the end. This is a license test, so yeah, off-track is not allowed, which is something that I almost did there. So yeah, don't do off-track. It's a bad idea here. I think this... No, it won't be silver. Oh, actually... Well, the finish line was closer. No. And yet again putting retry when I didn't mean to. God damn it. whatever. On to well, whatever is the next one. I'm assuming one of this is gonna be in Le Mans, right? This one is in Sonoma. So the reason why they seem to insist with this car for this track is because here they call this track Infineon Raceway, and that seems to be the sponsor of this Audi as well. And that I just realized that it has the Audi logo on the rear wing. Since the other day I was wondering if it was an Audi or not, yeah. By looking at the rear wing, it's pretty clear it is. Without a doubt. Yeah, I also saw that Sonoma is supposed to be the name of the place. Like, right now this track is called Sonoma Raceway. The thing is that Sonoma is also the name in the USA of the place. Like, I don't know if it's a county or what it is. I mean, it's not a state. Maybe it's a city. But whatever it is the name of the place. I mean, it usually tends to be like that in a lot of tracks. Like, the Daytona International Speedway is, it's in Daytona Beach. Well, I don't know if it's in the beach, but it's the point is that it's in the city of Daytona. And again, I put retry. I just can't help myself. Well, doesn't matter as long as it counts the medal. I don't mind. All right. So, oh, Chamonix. What's this? A Peugeot. Sure. Well, off to a bad start. Though keep in mind that this track is a hybrid. It's a nice track, yes, but half of it is asphalt. So it's size only in half of it, but and in the sides, I guess, in here too. It's mostly a combination of the two. Ah, shit. Very hard to control this thing in asphalt, though, I gotta say. Like, it's almost undrivable on asphalt. I cannot do it. I didn't have trouble with the DeLorean. And that's the car that I use for the special condition events in this track. Though of course the DeLorean is supposed to be a slow car, so compared to a faster one than like this one is understandable. But yeah, come on, dude, you gotta do better than that. You gotta prove yourself that you're a rally car. Because right now you wouldn't be doing that. If a DeLorean did better than you. Wow, and that corner is specifically evil. It's a corner that has snow until you actually reach the corner and it's asphalt. But it's also an extremely slow corner as well. But you can say that about this whole track. Like, this whole track is extremely slow. And you can also say that about the majority. The majority of the rally tracks in this game. Like, you have to drive super slow if you don't wanna crash. And here, since it's a license test, you definitely don't wanna crash. I mean, to the point that it even feels like you're doing it wrong. with how slow you gotta go. It really feels like you're just doing it wrong, but no, you're doing it the way you're supposed to do it. Here, for example, the fact that you essentially slow down to almost a full stop. You are thinking, well, I'm doing this wrong, right? But no, that's what you're intended to do. But in this one, I tried to do it very slow. And I still hit the wall fast enough to trigger the fail. That's quite crazy. All these corners are an absolute nightmare. And I gotta be grateful that the threshold for hitting the wall is very, very low. I mean, no, the threshold, I guess it's high. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't trigger super easily. Like, you actually have to hit it hard for the fail to trigger. Because if it only, like, if it trigger every time you hit the wall here, like, you know how slow I will have to go? Wow, they really do that. That sucks. I don't think I'm getting the... Well, considering that there are 10 seconds of difference, I actually might get the bronze. It's pretty fucked up. Just did a spin. I feel like it's a combination of this track being very fucked up and this car being too shitty. It's a bit of both. And if I hadn't done that spin, it would have been silver or gold. I probably would say it would have been gold without that spin. It's pretty funny. So is this gonna be Le Mans and the last one is gonna be Nürburgring? Is that how it's gonna be? Actually, it will. Damn. It's with one of the slow Le Mans prototype, right? But yeah, that's a problem for two reasons. Well, the first one is that it's long. But yeah, that basically takes to the second issue, that the moment you fail you have to retry quite a lot. That's a problem. Ah shit, no, it's fine, it's fine. This is the version that has the chicane, so there is no skipping here. You gotta do those. No skipping allowed. Okay. Not like doing the chicanes is hard, but once you get here, it's not like you can simply full speed and forget about everything. You gotta brake. I feel like I'm doing it way too early. I could have actually start braking like a lot later and still do fine. So since it's pretty clear that the graduation test is gonna be in Nürburgring, the question will be, with which car are you gonna make me drive Nürburgring? Like, is it gonna be an LMP? Because that's the thing. Doing Nürburgring on a Le Mans prototype is... like, that's a death trap. Like, the track is too narrow and there is a lot of corners. But you're also going extremely fast. Ah, shit. So I hope it's not with an LMP and instead it's with a GTR car. What I certainly hope is that it's not with a commute car. That would be nice. There, the last two chicanes. Okay. I'm surprised that with the insane margin I still cannot get silver here, but whatever. So now on to what I'm assuming it will be Nürburgring. I mean, at this point it's not even an assumption, it's a fact. This will be Nürburgring. Yeah, to nobody's surprise. So, with what car? A sport car driving. Which sports car? Oh, this is the car that I use for the touring car competition in the European events. So I was right that it was gonna be a touring car, and I'm glad it's this one. This is a pretty cool car. Like, I respect this car a lot. I mean, the fact that I could casually use it and win with it without trouble. In a competition that, according to the game, the A-spec points that you got from it was a lot, which means that it was supposedly hard, and yet it really wasn't that hard. I do think that I got the nitro for this, right? When I did the European Touring Cup. Actually, I don't know if it was a European Touring Cup or if it was exclusively for Sherman cars. It might have been for Sherman cars. I don't know. But at least I'm glad because I do like this car a lot. I mean, any car that earns me a victory in conditions where victory is not like free, it's not guaranteed, I gotta respect the car. So this one has earned my respect, just like that. So here basically, as long as you don't go off track, you're obviously gonna be fine, you know? Like, the bronze medal won't be hard to get. Though if you want to get the gold one, good luck with that. The bronze one, I mean, it's almost a minute apart from gold. It's like the kind of thing that they were just extremely, like, permissive because they knew that anything else will probably filter thousands, maybe millions even. No, probably not millions, but definitely thousands. Well, the same way that the last Nürburgring mission filtered me and a lot of people too, you know. Believe it or not, earlier today, aside from investigating about that final mission in Nürburgring, I also tried a couple of attempts to see if it was gonna be possible, like to see how hard and how much try-harding it will take me. But I essentially came to the conclusion that, yeah, it's not really possible. Also, if I'm not mistaken, in that same touring car championship, I did a lap in Nürburgring, right? And Nürburgring was, I think, one of the tracks in the championship, most likely. I think that some people say that, for example, in this carousel, what they do to try to do it fast in that mission is they ride the outside wall to basically not brake and do that corner at almost full speed. Problem is that to do that, you have to like hit the wall in a specific way. Because if you hit it from the front, you get a penalty. But if you hit it from the side or from the back, you don't. So that's ideal, but easier said than done. Now I gotta really focus here, because the moment I lose my concentration is the moment I go off track. And the moment I go off track is the moment I need to redo this. That's something that I'm not... Well, I will do, yes, I guess, but I rather not. I mean, obviously I will do, since it's the final mission remaining, but... Ideally, we want to do this in one try. Obviously. It's not even like it's not the first time in a license test that you are done to do Nürburgring. It's just that last time you had the pace car, but I feel like if anything the pace car is it's like a difficulty in itself. It's like an added difficulty instead of a help. Because if you really wanted to see how to take the corners, you already have the suggested gear. That's way more than enough to know when to take the corners. Now, you don't need someone like a car telling you where to go or how to do the corners. Well, and in fact, in this final straight, against the pace car, you can, unless you avoid him, you can easily crash him, because you're going so fast and you have his slipstream that, you know, tragedies are gonna happen. Right, careful with this brake. I'm doing it super safe here. You can already tell that I'm not getting the gold. I don't know what sort of magic you need to get the gold here, but certainly not magic I'm capable of doing. But I get the silver at least, so why not? But yeah, we got the S license. That's something. I wonder what car we're gonna get. I mean, Kyle already told me that if you do all gold, you get the original Ford GT from 1917 or something. But what about getting all bronze, right? That's the real question. Which car? Huh. A Cougar. You know, honestly, I would have preferred a different type of Cougar, but this one, I guess, would have been useful for the muscle car competition, but you already get a car like that earlier, so... Are all the rewards you get from here, like, old cars? That's disappointing. I even wonder... what's the silver one? Because I'm here thinking of, you know, do silver, and maybe silver is completely worthless, just like bronze and gold are. I will ask Kyle some other time, I guess. But yeah, for now, we're gonna get this ready for tomorrow by equipping the Minolta Toyota. And I think that I might as well do it here before I forget. Purchasing the racing compounds that are like super hard, because I'm assuming by default it has a racing medium, most likely. So here we go. Yeah, correct. So these ones we're not using them, so we're gonna purchase hard and super hard, and I'm gonna equip the hard ones, because if the Minolta Toyota as an opponent uses the default ones that are medium, it's not enough to do a single race. So the super hard ones, I'm gonna purchase them in case I need them for another race or something like that. But for now, my idea is to go with the hard ones and see how that goes. Probably it's not gonna go well at all, but it's worth an attempt. I mean, it's the only thing I can do to win that championship at this point. So we will see how it goes tomorrow. But for now, that will be it for me for today. So thanks everyone a lot for watching, and I'll be seeing you on the next stream. Hopefully being able to beat the Gran Turismo World Championship. So have a good one, and take care.